Hi guys. Hello. Oh man, that is a horrendous angle. Jesus. But I'm not like I don't have neither time nor the effort in me to change it. So let's see if I can just I don't know, move this camera closer or something. There we have it. Hi guys. I'm sorry it's not super bright in here. I can't really do much about it right now, but I do have a lot of news today, I suppose. Well, not like a lot of new, not like, so a lot of just things to catch up on. So I put a deposit on an apartment. I'm not going to say more because I'm not superstitious in general, but I am when it comes to like saying things before they happen. So I hi Jeremy, thank you. So I'm just going to tell you that I put a oh hi Lynn. Yeah, it was a very nice thing of Rick to remind me to invite me to invite me to the truck handoff. It was really cool. I really liked it. So, oh, thank you, Joe. That's very sweet. Thank you. Let me say hi to everyone, and then I'll jump into like talking. Sally, just saw your video with Rick at the NAFO truck handoff. It was good to see you, and I hope you get to know the YouTube Ukrainian community. So much more can be accomplished together. Yeah, I'm really excited to like get to know everyone more. I just couldn't. Hi, Armin. Hi, Carlos. I just couldn't really stay long this time because I had a train to catch and I didn't have breakfast at that point. And I've said this before, but like when I go to Kyiv, it's like go 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 go. So I basically like I sleep on a night train, and usually I don't sleep very well because I'm lucky and I get these compartment neighbors who are like men and they snore. Or this time actually he was really nice. He was a military guy and he didn't snore, but it was just a very good conversation. So I stayed up and I went to bed at like 3:34, and then I got up at 7 when the train arrived at the station. Then I went to a cafe, had breakfast, and I had like a meeting at 11, and I didn't get to move into my like Airbnb until like 3 or so. And so I had I changed. I had some things to do. I met up with a friend. I had some more stuff to do. Basically, like it was just like go, 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 go. And then I didn't sleep really. I didn't really sleep much. So it's just like my trips to Kyiv for work are usually just very busy and I don't get enough sleep. And so I was supposed to get to the NAFO thing with Rick at 9 a.m. and I woke up at 9. So I got there at 10. And then I had a train at noon and I still had to have like breakfast and stuff. So yeah, it was just like, it was a lot, but next time I'm definitely going to stay longer. Okay, so hi, Mark. Hi, Michael. Hi, Taz. Hi, Anhale. Hi, John. Hi, Hugh. Hi, Praxis. Also, hello again, Lynn. Hi. Oh, hi, Lost One. And yeah, I think I've said hi to everybody and hi, TikTok. So yeah, what had happened today? So today was Cindy's surgery day. She took it really well, but I'm exhausted because I couldn't fall asleep until like 3 a.m. yesterday, or maybe later than that. I woke up at 8 and I was on my feet all day. So I 9 a.m. my mom picked me up. 10 a.m. Cindy's surgery. 11:30 I went to get my nails done because I forgot that I scheduled it for today, because I usually like schedule it on the day that I get it done, right? And I schedule it like 2 weeks after or like 3 weeks after. And so I scheduled it for today and I couldn't move it because it was last minute. So I was like, I might as well go. And then another thing that I forgot about is there is this tattoo artist who lives in Ukraine, and I've been following her for the past 9 years. And I've really been wanting to go to her. And so she's done sketches for a tattoo that I wanted. And I've already rescheduled it also twice. So I couldn't reschedule it again, and I forgot that it was today as well. And I was like, I have to go. Thank you, Super Hornet and Hi Cat. So I got a tattoo today. So you're not gonna really see what it looks like because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to show it. Okay, so TikTok first. It's a fish. My dad calls me Fish. I think most of you guys know that. Here is the tattoo. You can't really see it super well because it's going to be under the wrap for 3 days and or 4 days, and then I'm going to have to take it off and like clean it and all this stuff. This is Liv's business over here. You know, um, she's like, yeah, how do I show this? Oh yeah. Okay, so Fish. And it's yeah, my dad calls me Fish, so it's a fish. She's like an awesome tattoo artist, and you literally would not believe what this tattoo cost me. It's like so like okay, she's a very 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 good tattoo artist. Lviv these days is more expensive than Kyiv in a lot of ways. She's a pretty well-known tattoo artist. People come here to see her. Do you want to guess how much this tattoo was? Because I bet you will be so surprised. Shayan, so that's with a Z. That's obviously a Russian bot or a sympathizer who's asking me why do I wear baggy clothes all the time. Honey, you know I'm pregnant with all the NATO cyber modified soldiers and all the missiles and BTRs and tanks and Bradleys, and so that's why. Okay, so range is 200, 100, 400, 300, 150, 200. Okay, so this tattoo was 2,000 hryvnias, which is about $55. And it was a 2-hour job, and it's super fine line work. It's in her signature style. And yeah. Yeah. And she's like a very well known, like really, really good tattoo artist. So yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you'll be like very I'm sure you'll be super. No, Kat was closest. She said Kat said 30 to $50. But yeah, so it was like the coolest thing ever. And I've like prepaid it before, so but that's and I've rescheduled it. So it was originally supposed to happen like in the beginning of January, and then I just had to reschedule it because there was too much happening. And it's like the worst timing too, because it was Cindy's surgery today. Cindy's doing well. Liv is being a nightmare. Like actually, she had food aggression to Cindy again today for no reason. She did that yesterday too, hence this. She constantly tries to like lick Cindy's tail wound, and she can't do that. So because that's not good for Cindy. She's also like she's pooped in the room. Liv has been like an utter nightmare today. I love the dog so much, but I'm gonna have to look for a dog trainer in Kyiv. Thank you, Mariana, because like she really needs someone to to like do something about it, and I am just not qualified enough to like help her through these things. I said 0 to 4,000. Hi, Gord. The tattoo is of a fish. And also, Cheyenne, like, why do you care if I wear baggy clothes? Because I'm comfortable. I like comfortable clothes, and I don't care if people like, and I don't care. I'm not here to like look good or like dress up. I'm here to read the news and talk about Ukraine. So for me, it's like I wear whatever it is that I wear at home that day. In fact, I think I'm gonna like disappoint you further. So here are some blood stains that I was just washing off of this because Cindy's tail still bleeds. It's like, it's a normal thing. And so every time I pick her up, I get like little stains. And, because I've been taking care of my dog and also trying to make sure my other dog doesn't do anything to that dog and doesn't like disturb her, disrupt her, I just don't particularly have the time to or care to look fantastic for you on camera and wear clothes that are not baggy so you can like, see exactly how fit or unfit I am, you know. Um, I wear whatever the fuck. Oh, Liv. Wow. What I was saying as the camera dropped, literally, um, was I don't care what I look like currently because that's not what this channel is about. So yeah, I'm very happy I caught that because that's a very nice lens and I cannot and do not want to replace it. So yeah. So there's that. But okay, wait, I think I moved it a little too far. So yeah. But another thing is like, so this is like the last thing I'm gonna say about this because frankly, like I don't care enough to address it for so long. But you look good in baggy clothes. Also, I didn't say you look bad. Yeah, but like, why does he see? Here's like the thing: no one would ask a man. If I were a man and I was talking about war or the news here, and I was like explaining, you know, certain like battlefield updates or political things or literally anything, no one would be like, "Oh, why do you wear baggy clothes or why is your style like that?" Because nobody pays attention to that on men. And like you might not realize it, but it's incredibly misogynistic and annoying because people tend to think it's okay to comment on a woman's appearance in any situation. And it really isn't. Because if my channel was about fashion or it was about makeup or it was about things like that, where my appearance is literally discussed on that channel as the main topic, that would probably be appropriate. But if I'm talking about war and I'm talking about politics and I'm talking about literally anything that isn't related to what I look like, why do you feel like you have the prerogative and it's reasonable to ask me why do I like wearing what I'm wearing? I doubt that you have ever asked that of a male YouTuber or a male presenter or a male news anchor or literally a male creator of any kind because you don't feel the need to discuss their appearance because they're not a woman. But I am. So you feel like you have the right to do that. And you're like entitled to commenting on my appearance in any way, whether it's positive or negative or whatever. But the point is, like, I'm not a doll and I'm not, I'm not here for you to, I'm not here for you to discuss my looks. I'm here for you to discuss politics, specifically geopolitics and the war in Ukraine with me. So, like, if you want to comment on my baggy clothes or on my not baggy clothes or on my eyeliner or like on whatever, then that's probably not the channel for you and you should probably like move on somewhere else because that's incredibly inappropriate. So yeah. So yeah. Hi. Uh, is Ukraine going to join the EU anytime soon? Well, Ukraine has started accession talks, so that's they last anywhere from 2 years to over a decade. So we don't really have an answer to that. But as we've all heard, the EU is going to do everything possible to accelerate this procedure for Ukraine. But so yes, what I was trying to say is I'm super tired today. I know I've said that so much, but I put a deposit down on an apartment. I'm not going to say like, oh, I got an apartment in Kyiv because if Ukraine was accepted to the EU during wartime, does that change anything? No, it really doesn't actually. I mean, like, it probably will help economically and weapons sharing because the EU is likely going to be much more, inclined to give Ukraine more weapons. Not that now they are anyway. So like that was 2 years ago would have been helpful because it's kind of like the Commonwealth, right? In that way. So what was I going to say? Yeah, so I'm not going to say like, oh, I got an apartment in Kyiv. I'm going to tell you the full story about why I was actually able to get the apartment, and I'm going to tell you the full story of the apartment. And I'm a very, very, very sweet person. And I like once I actually sign it and I move in so I'm not superstitious about anything. but I am very like wary of saying things, especially that are like positive that I'm really excited about before they happen, which is why I haven't really extensively talked about the job yet. And also because like it's the type of job that I would have to like, I mean, it would be like expected of me to like issue some sort of a statement. And I want to do that when I start, not before I do. And, and so, and so, and I also, okay, Grumpy, just let it go at this point, please. I also am, yeah, so I'm supposed to sign the lease on the 5th, and that's when I'm probably gonna travel to Kyiv by car with either my mom or, funnily enough, my dad's girlfriend, because we get along and she's cool and she's offered to do that. And she'd probably be like a very cool person to spend the first night in my new apartment with, because you know she's cool. I like her, and she's fun, and I get along with her really well. And we're close in age. Yeah, we're not gonna go into it. But so yeah, so I'm gonna go there on the 5th. I'm supposed to do the pilot test shoot on this on the 6th in the morning for the new job. And yeah, and then I'll do like a little. So here's the thing, like there was no point of doing there is no point of doing an apartment tour here because it's a temporary apartment, and also I didn't really do much with it because you know like it's just what it is. But I will do like a little room tour or like a little apartment tour once I move into the apartment in Kyiv, because that's actually going to be my home base. And yeah, I'm just like I'm really excited. I really hope that everything works out. It you know, it's just sort of like I don't know. I'm you know, I'm very hopeful that things are going to start moving in the right direction. And yeah, I mean, if you followed me for the past 2 years, you know how much I've sort of been wanting to like settle, because I've if you don't know the story is that I worked in UX design. I was a creative director and I quit, and I started doing this off of my savings. So I haven't really, you know, I haven't really been making enough money to cover any of my basic expenses through doing this, and I've been like exhausting all of my savings and like all potential avenues of like making some sort of income. And my real consistent income only comes from United 24 videos. And while they pay me well per video, it's not like it's not like as in like it's not a job that brings you monthly income. It's kind of like a gig and like pocket money type of thing, right? So so it depends. Well, sometimes I have more videos, but mostly not really. So it's really nice to sort of start actually, you know, settling in in like being able to do and being able to do sort of like what I do with you know, what I love, and kind of like, you know, progress in it, and also make it into like a job that, you know, I'm lost in what I was saying. But basically what I'm trying to say is I'm just excited for, you know, all the developments that are coming, and I hope it's just, you know, uphill from here, and some new and exciting things are going to be happening. What happened to my hand? My dog. It was an accident. It's her like her paw. So yeah. But anyways, um can the EU kick members out who publicly claim parts of their neighboring countries? Unfortunately, not. But I know you're referring to Hungary, but they're basically financially exhausting Hungary, and they're high cable, and they're doing everything. Robota w media. And they're doing everything that's possible to sort of like crash their economy. And it does look like the EU is going to invoke Article 7, and they're going to deprive Hungary of the right of veto, which should have done a long time ago. The EU doesn't have a procedure for kicking countries out of the EU. Oh, hi, Ohio. Hi, Travis. Good to see you. Oh my God. Wait, it's so funny. So Travis says, I caught a live finally, Ohio Oblast checking in. And then Joey at the same time on TikTok says, hey, I finally got to see you. Missed you on here. Hi, Joey. I've missed you too. We should do like a YouTube thing at some point together. So Joey Contino, actually, I'm sure most of you know how to spell Joey. Contino is spelled as Contino. He has a YouTube too. His wife is Ukrainian. Her name is Yulia. She goes by Julia. And he is a radio host. So he has this like very good voice for the news, and he does a lot of informative videos on TikTok, but also he does have a YouTube. So if you want to follow him on here, I'll link his page after the live if I don't forget. Don't let me forget, please. And yeah, also there was a donation that came in while I was like outside of the live. So we are now at, I will tell you, we are now at $5,296. So $296 over 2 drones out of 6. And we still have about $200 to match. So for those of you who don't know, a very generous, fantastic, very sweet person from Twitter has agreed to match donations up to $500 for the past live. And obviously it also stretched to today's live. So we raised about $300, so actually $600. And once we raise 500, we're actually going to raise 1,000. So if you donate to the fundraiser, which is going to be linked right here, Grumpy just sent the link, and on my TikTok, it's in my link in bio. If you donate to the fundraiser, if you donate $5, it's going to turn into 10. If you donate 10, it's going to turn into 20, and we still have like $200 to turn into 400. So yeah. Hi, Kurt. Good to see you. So let me pin the link that Grumpy put in the chat. And that's where you can donate right there. And yeah, so that's that. And every donation that comes during the live, I announce, and I have been pretty decent again at keeping the tally going on Twitter. So, oh my gosh, Kat, don't we all? But you've donated so much to this fundraiser. You have done so well. Oh my gosh, wait. Oh, Travis, thank you. So actually, we have raised another $50, which is turning into $100 out of 400 that we can raise. Yeah, so I don't know how I should say. Oh my gosh, Gord. So another $100 donation, which actually turns into $200. Wait, not 1,000. Out of, so that was 250, 300 out of 400. So we are now at $5,596. Wait, check again. So 100 that turned into 200, and then 50 that turned into 100. So that's 300 out of 400. Woo, or did I miss something? I didn't, right? If I did, please let me know, because I'm just going off of the emails that come up on my screen. And obviously after the live, I'm going to check if if I didn't, yeah, I was not told math would be involved. Oh, I know. Trust me, I am so bad at math. So incredibly horrendous at math. It's not even funny. So I just, try not to do it. But this is an exception. But if I missed a donation, do let me know. Just like nudge me in the chat, and I will obviously, keep up. I'll obviously keep the tally on Twitter and check if everything had been accounted for, and I will, update everything. But during the live, if you send something and I did not happen to see it on the screen, just do nudge me and I will check, because it shows up right there. And if I'm not straight looking at it and I don't see the notification, it might be an issue. But normally I'm pretty good at seeing them. So $5,596, and we have matched 300 or 400 available, which is like, I think a very, 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 very good a very good, a big deal. I think it's a big deal, is what I'm trying to say, and I think it's wow. So thank you. Um, Alrighty, I think it's about the right time to start with the news. So I did choose the title to say rumors about Zaluzhny, and I do want to talk about it. So I debated whether I want to talk about it because to me, it's kind of like everyone keeps asking questions about it. So I feel like I do need to address it. But to me, it's sort of like tabloid level news, right? So there was this rumor a couple of months ago that Zelensky and Zaluzhny are not getting along, and they're like in a fight, and they haven't been seen together in a long time. And that rumor was perpetuated by Kyiv Independent, and then they were called out on posting misinformation because they said that they haven't been seen together for over a month, and it was actually like a week. And people started calling them out and giving them all of them like proof of these two being together at various different occasions. So so there is that. So then this other rumor came out, and the rumor is or was that Zaluzhny is being forced out of the office, and that he's going to be fired, and that the order for him being fired is basically submitted, and it just hasn't been announced yet. And then first the office of the president, first the Ministry of Defense denied it, then the office of the president denied it, and then he posted a selfie at work, basically showing that he's working, everything's fine, no one got fired. So usually these rumors are based on anonymous sources. Also, that's because if Zaluzhny were to be fired, 75% of Ukrainians would be enraged. And what Russia has been doing is it's been trying to undermine Ukrainians' trust and Ukrainians' trust and Ukrainians' sort of like sympathy towards the Ukrainian government. And so they're trying to perpetuate all types of rumors that would make the people absolutely hate Zelensky, right? They tried the first time. They thought that yachts and corruption and all this other stuff is going to sort of cause Maidan 3 and is going to cause people to topple the government, because Russia knows they can't topple the Ukrainian government, but you know who can? Ukrainians. So it didn't work. And then this time around, they figured, oh, how do we piss off Ukrainians to topple their government? Let's say that Zelensky is firing Zaluzhny, and let's sort of date it back to their conflict, and people are going to believe it because there were already rumors about that. And so we don't know what's happening, but clearly all of this is like misinformation aimed at really undermining Ukrainian trust in the government. It's misinformation aimed at dividing the people. It's misinformation aimed at making people argue and all that type of stuff. And it really pisses me off because a lot of people do fall for it, and it does cause a lot of tensions, and it does cause a lot of disagreements and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's upsetting because, you know, it's the time where we should be, as cheesy as it sounds, as united as possible, because we need to make sure that we resist. We need to make sure that we resist Russia, not sort of fall into their trap, right? And we need to make sure that we do everything possible to help our military and to kind of like persist through it, and then also make changes that are reasonable and call out things that are unreasonable without sort of like causing so much disarray that it would play to Russia's hand. So that's what it is. If you ask me, I might be wrong, but I think that all of these Zaluzhny rumors are misinformation and a disinformation campaign, and I'm so freaking tired of these types of things being spread and perpetuated. So let's please not, let's please not trust anonymous sources, and let's please not perpetuate yellow press rumors. So there is that. Um, Sandberg, why do you think Belarus never got directly involved? Um, um, why do I think Belarus didn't get directly involved? Because, well, so Lukashenko doesn't want to get into war. He also knows that, like, his people, at least at that time, would have been pissed off enough at him for like sending them to die in war that they would topple him. And he can't, like, the reason why he was staying in power is because Putin was helping him stay there. Ah, thank you so much, Foodie. Is because Putin was like helping him stay there. Putin was basically like, you know, his friend and ally with more power. Um Wait 1 second. Um and At that point, sorry. So, um, thank you, Pauline. Um, oh no, I'm so sorry that you're dealing with mental health struggles. If you want to, you know, I mean, hey, you totally don't have to, but if you want someone to listen, you know, just, I'm usually pretty responsive, but I hope you're doing better. Um, okay, so um, basically, Belarus didn't want to get involved because it wasn't like Lukashenko knew that it would not be um, beneficial for him, and so he was trying to play two games. Also, he was sort of trying not to get, you know, not to get too much. Not to anger Poland too much because that's their border, and not to anger the EU too much because he didn't want to be sanctioned. Also, because while Belarus was sort of like flippy floppy, you know, no one was really sanctioning it. And so Russia was doing a lot of its dirty work through Belarus. And do you think anything positive has come out of this war? I I mean, yes, but it's a super loaded question. So, would I rather not have the war? Sure. Do I think there are some positives that came out of it? Also, sure. But like, I would much rather, you know, Russia never did what Russia did. But I mean, then we would have to go like centuries back because if we don't go centuries back and undo that, then we would still always end up in this situation. And sooner than later, we would have to like defeat them because they would continue doing what they have always been doing. And thank you, Pauline. That's so sweet of you. um, okay. Inspectors general from the USA who will check the aid provided to Ukraine arrived in Kyiv. The ambassador of the USA to Ukraine, Bridget Brink, said, "The Council is pleased to once again welcome 3 inspectors general to Kyiv. Their meetings with implementers, partners, and Ukrainian government will contribute to strengthening oversight and accountability of U.S. assistance to Ukraine," said Brink. Thank you, Mariana. So for all those people who are like, "Oh my gosh, Ukraine is stealing our money," first of all, the U.S. is not sending money. The U.S. is sending weapons, and most of the money that the U.S. is allocating actually stays in the U.S. If I'm not mistaken, it's over 90%. And there is always a commission that comes to Ukraine, I think every quarter, or every sort of like, yeah, every quarter, that checks on what's been happening with the deliveries. Uh so yeah. Sandberg, are you asking these questions because you yourself want to know, or do you want me to answer this for like other people in case they want to know that? Because if you want to know them for yourself, then you can always just message me, provided that you literally have my phone number and I talk to you quite frequently. But if you're doing it for the greater good of people, that's very sweet. But I can't answer questions after questions after questions, because then I don't get through the news, and then I end up being on live for like an hour and a half, and then I'm falling asleep. So I do need to get through the news for the day. The EU Council has automatically extended sanctions against Russia for 6 months until July 31st, 2024. The sanctions encompass a broad range of sectoral measures, including restrictions on trade, finance, technology, dual use goods, industry, transport, and luxury goods. Specific measures such as a ban on the import or transfer of crude oil and certain petroleum products from Russia to the EU, de-SWIFT measures against several Russian banks, and suspension of broadcasts and licenses of Kremlin-backed disinformation media outlets are also in place. Um, the extension aims to maintain these measures in response to Russia's ongoing illegal actions violating the prohibition on the use of force, a serious violation of international law, according to the EU Council's statement. Didn't you have a World War III rant? Yes, I did. I'm both interested in your opinion, wanting interesting content, and trying to delay you sleeping so we all get to hear you for longer. LOL. So I mean, what's its face? I don't think they. I don't think that. Yes, they failed to live up to the Budapest Memorandum, because if they didn't fail to live up to it, we would still have Donbass and we would still have Crimea. Okay, territorial sovereignty and integrity. That's as far as I'm going to say, because if I go on a rant or on a tangent, then again, I'm going to be here forever. As to sort of like as to this EU Council that has extended sanctions, it's really funny to me when they say that they are sanctioning Russian government backed media, because, for instance, Reuters used to be part of TASS, and they frequently publish lots of Russian narratives and Russian propaganda. There are tons of Russian journalists working for the New York Times, the New Yorker, Washington Post, the Associated Press. So many publications are genuinely infiltrated. And when I say infiltrated, I mean it, because most Russians who have like high up jobs abroad are connected to the Russian government, and most of them have been aided and abetted in getting these jobs, getting the education for these jobs, getting the connections for these jobs, paying their way to these jobs. And I don't mean like bribing people. I mean like they have been sent to work in these Western publications and to spread their narratives. They have been given grants to go study abroad, to go meet the right people. Russia opens like Russian culture centers all over the globe, and those culture centers are literally the place for like it's kind of like a KGB offset, right? Because they're there to spread the disinformation, spread the narrative that works for them, and to infiltrate the society. And it's not like a conspiracy theory. It's not crazy talk. That's just what Russia does. It's the same as Russia gives grants, money, and tons of money to professors at like Harvard and Yale and like whatever in Russian studies for them to like write dissertations and publish books and open Russian cultural centers. And they build and invest all of these money into like Russian cultural centers that teach history the way that they want to. And then it's so hard to disprove it because there is just so much of it everywhere. And they have all that money to do that. And that's kind of how we ended up here to begin with. So, so yeah, thank you, Sally. So yeah, there is that, and it's just really upsetting when they say like, "Oh, we sanction Russian government-backed media." Like, no, you don't, because then you have to sanction every journalist who is Russian that works for Reuters, WAPO, AP, the New Yorker, the New York Times, literally like all of it is like the Telegraph, every single accredited publication, because they are Russian propagandists and they write outwardly Russian propaganda pieces like Simon Schuster, if you look at his reporting, literally until January 2022, it was all crazy Russian propaganda like, oh, is Russia going to intervene in Ukraine's civil war? Is Russia going to help? Things like that. Ukrainian Nazis in the far right regiment. Corruption and terrible politicians. Is Russia or the West going to help poor, struggling, civil war engulfed Ukraine? And then, right when the invasion started, he was like, yeah, change narrative. Zelensky, person of the year, because obviously he knew if he continues writing his propaganda, he's going to lose the job and then he's not going to be able to continue pushing his narratives. So he played the card that was useful and that was beneficial, and then he went straight back to his original mission, and that's like, planting the seeds of propaganda everywhere, because now he's considered a credible journalist. Like, hey, he's written the article for Time about Zelensky being person of the year. So, he's just reasonable, and his reporting is balanced, he's just unbiased. No, he's not. He's a propagandist who tricked you. And that's all it is. And there's so many of them. And that's how they operate. And it's a literal method. It's called it's called 90 to 10 or 40-60, right? And you sort of like basically you start with real news, and then you throw in like 10% of propaganda, and then you go 80% real news and 20% of the narrative you want to spread. And then you gradually change to just propaganda, and people think you're unbiased because they've seen you write real stuff that's fact-checked and true. And that's kind of how Russia operates. Thank you, Tara. So good to see you too. Okay. The forint experienced a decline against the euro, and Hungarian bond prices fell following reports of potential EU economic measures against Hungary for blocking aid to Ukraine. As per the Financial Times, the Hungarian currency dropped 0.7% to HUF 389 per euro after news broke that the EU officials were devising a strategy that could have adver- oh, sorry. After the news broke that the EU officials were devising a strategy that could have adverse effects on jobs and growth, and Budapest continued to obstruct aid to Kyiv. The benchmark 10-year bond yield rose by 0.09 percentage points to 6.35%, reaching its highest level since December, reflecting the impact on bond prices. Hungarian EU Minister János Bokka responded to the reports, stating he knew nothing about potential EU sanctions and suggested Budapest could support the 50 billion euro plan for Ukraine if it underwent annual reviews, a proposal rejected by other EU countries. Wait, who was kicked? Yulia, you could literally wear a carrot costume and everyone here would appreciate the work you do just as much as they already do. I mean, if I was wearing a carrot costume, that would probably be incredibly distracting and slightly inappropriate. But also, it's been like 30 minutes since that conversation, but I very much appreciate your what is that? Supportive messages of support, supportive. I'm sure you know what I meant. Sorry for being so brain dead. But yeah, so this is talking about what I was saying with the EU trying to crash Hungary's economy, so investments pull out, so they stop doing what they're doing because obviously they're incredibly dependent on the EU aid, and they blackmail the EU with vetoing aid to Ukraine. Oh, hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Good to see you. Okay. The head of the president's office, Yermak, stated that negotiations with the head of the Hungarian foreign ministry in Uzhhorod demonstrated the mutual desire of Kyiv and Budapest to hold a meeting at the highest level. Yermak expressed optimism, saying, "I believe that we have taken a very powerful step towards this meeting today. While specific dates were not discussed, both sides have expressed interest in the meeting taking place as soon as possible." Ah, bullshit. Neither one of the sides wants anything to do with each other. Ukraine obviously has to be as diplomatic as possible and try and sort of like build a bridge to Hungary, because clearly Hungary has an agenda, and Ukraine is going to be as nice as possible and as diplomatic as possible to try to be friendly. But realistically, Orban is a nuisance, and he is a dictator and a fascist and also a Putin sympathizer and a puppet. And he doesn't want to meet with Zelensky. There is nothing that Ukrainians can say, or the Ukrainian government can say, unless it can offer them more corruption and money schemes than Russia does, to make Hungary change their mind. So, I mean, it's a pretty useless situation, but oh well. Volodymyr Zelensky had held a telephone conversation with the Prime Minister of Greece. The discussion centered around preparations for the upcoming Second Ukraine-Balkans Summit. Zelensky expressed gratitude to Greece for its participation in the fourth advisors' meeting in Davos and extended an invitation to join the organization of the Global Peace Summit. Hi, Crazy Cat. The ruling coalition in Latvia reached a political agreement regarding the ban on importing grain from Russia and Belarus into the country. Hi, Lauren. Good to see you. The issue of banning the import of grain from Russia and Belarus has long been discussed in Latvia, but until now, the ruling coalition believed that it would be best to make a joint decision at the EU level, and a unilateral ban would not make sense because Russian grain could still enter Latvia through other European countries. The occupiers lost more than 7,000 armored vehicles in Ukraine, intelligence report of the UK Ministry of Defense. 7,000 armored personnel carriers. That's a really large number. Losing 7,000 vehicles is insane. But of course, I mean, Russia can, it's like Russia is oozing all of this like old military tech and military tech in general that's subpar, but still, still functional and still damaging to Ukraine. So it feels like it doesn't matter how many vehicles they lose, they just still have more that keep coming. Or if they lose vehicles, they'll just send soldiers without them. So it's fine. According to British intelligence, since February 24th, 2022, the Russians have lost about 2.6 thousand tanks and 4.9 thousand armored vehicles. In 2023, losses in equipment were reduced by 40% due to the transition to defense and trench warfare. During the meeting, EU permanent representative approved the establishment of a dedicated account to receive interest from taxable profits of frozen Russian assets. Finally, as reported by Radio Svoboda correspondent Ricard Jozwiak. This initial step has gained approval, and the focus now shifts to the subsequent phase, finalizing the process of transferring the funds from frozen Russian assets into Ukraine. So, I mean, that's still a hiccup, but at least it's moving along, and it's moving steadily. The German defense concern Rheinmetall will build a new factory for the production of ammunition to meet the needs of the armed forces of Germany and Ukraine. That's actually big because that means that their production capacity is going to be doubled, or it's going to increase significantly, and that's very good for both Germany and Ukraine. A French Scalp cruise missile installed on a Ukrainian Su-24 with the inscription De Paris avec amour. Raciste aller en enfer. So, from Paris with love, Raciste, Russians, go to hell. That's nice. I'm sure my French was horrible, but de Paris avec de Paris avec amour. I can't say that in French, but raciste. Allez en enfer. Um, so something like that. If you're French, I'm so sorry for your ears. Um, thanks, Mike. Luxembourg joined the F-16 coalition. The Prime Minister of Ukraine, Denis Shmyhal, spoke with his colleague Luc Frieden and expressed his gratitude to the Prime Minister of Luxembourg for his leadership in creating the IT coalition, as well as for joining the F-16 coalition. That's actually big. So Luxembourg is Svoboda is freedom, Radio Freedom, not Radio Saturday. So Luxembourg is kind of like is similar to Switzerland in that regard. It's very neutral, and it's very, very good that they have joined the F-16 coalition and they support Ukraine so much. Ain't they sending orcs to fight even without arms, much less vehicles? Oh yeah, I mean meat assaults. It's called meat assaults. Estonia will join the training of Ukrainian recruits as part of the Interflex International Program, Ministry of Defense of Estonia. Oh, so remember my classmate, my friend's boyfriend who got mobilized? So he is being trained for EW, for electronic warfare, and in France. And he's there, I think, for a week now, or maybe two, but he's going to be there for a month and a half total. And so he was joking that, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to France. Does that mean that they're going to have like croissants delivered to the like pretend front line for us? And you know what? While they were being taught trench warfare and how to build trenches and all this stuff, while they were practicing, a field kitchen arrived and brought them croissants and coffee. Also, I've been shown meals that they receive in the French training camp, and it's like duck leg, panna cotta, like a brick of camembert, brie, various delicacies, and it's like nicer food than I sometimes get for myself in a restaurant. And I was just like, so we were so worried for you, fucker. And what you ended up getting was a month-long, all expenses paid vacation to the wilderness of France. Nice. That is winning at mobilization if I've ever seen any. Also, they have been given uniforms that they will have to like submit back because they're French uniforms and they're not going to need them. But they've also been getting like Under Armour trainers, like long johns, so thermal layers, a bunch of like extra stuff that they don't need to return. So this fucker that I love very much because he's a good friend of mine is going to come back to Ukraine after his month and a half long, all expenses paid vacation to the French wilderness, not only with electronic warfare skills, but also with Under Armour sneakers and a bunch of like nice, expensive gear. Yeah. According to the results, hi, Idaho. According to the results of the meeting in the Ramstein format, the head of the Ministry of Defense of the Netherlands, Ollongren, announced the allocation of 122 million euros for military aid to Ukraine. Why do some conscripts get sent straight to the trenches with minimal training and others get Western training? Because there's not enough Western training, and also because here's the thing. It's like it's just like some leadership is good and some leadership is bad. Some organization is good and some is bad. So it's really your luck, because some training centers are fantastic and some people actually care for training their conscripts, and some people are horrendous and they should be reported, and those centers should be reported. And it's really hard to get action on these types of things because there's so much going on in terms of like what needs to be investigated and fixed that they don't get to it until it's like way later on. So for instance, what's his face? Like for instance, it would be sometimes the SBU doesn't get to investigate people who are directing strikes onto Ukraine until a year after because there are so many people who do that type of stuff. Like they're overloaded. It's not enough supply, too much demand, basically. Thank you, Pauline. Really good to see you. And yes, I hope I see you soon. And also, I'll be back on my main account tomorrow. So if you do look for me there. And that is, that stands for everyone. I will be back on my main account tomorrow. Also, someone please, take that away from TikTok. Thank you very much, Kat. Ukrainian defenders shot down an enemy Su-34 bomber, said the spokesman of the General Staff, Andriy Kovalev, on air of the telethon. Are you having TikTok difficulties? Not really difficulties, but trolls reported my live, so it's suspended until late tonight. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for what I have today. I'm going to do a more extensive report tomorrow. I think I'm like really losing focus and I need to like go lay in bed and like watch a movie. And oh my gosh, Rick, hi, so good to see you. You guys, if some of you still don't follow Rick for whatever inexplicable reason, please do. Rick is fantastic and he's a really great guy and you should follow him. Sorry, this is such a terrible advertisement because I'm like tired, but I have to go to sleep as well. What can I do or read TikTok? So I don't think there's anything to do. I mean, this is just like, temporary bans that last like 7 days. Oh, the Carpathian sweatshirt. Yeah, I really love it. Thank you. It is indeed a very good sweatshirt. Thank you. I love it so much. But yeah, I do need rest. I need to go. So, hey, gentle reminder, but a really cool, but a really good, a lot of great progress we made today. So we're at $5,596 for the drone fundraiser, and we have matched basically $800 out of the $1,000 that we could match. So there is still $100 that could be matched into a $200 donation. So if anyone still wants to send a donation and you're on TikTok, it's over in my link in bio. And if you are on YouTube, then it's pinned right here. And so if you'd like to donate for the fundraiser for the 6 drones for 3rd Separate Assault Brigade, I would be really grateful. And so someone on Twitter is matching the donations up until $500, and we have matched $400. So that's pretty awesome. All right. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow and on my main account for those of you who are on TikTok. And I will see you guys tomorrow here on YouTube. Nothing changes. And I will do a more extensive news report. I just sort of wanted to say hi and I wanted to do some updates, especially the one on Zaluzhnyi and all those rumors that are just, I'm so tired of them. But yeah, I need to go sleep. I'm so tired. All right. Okay. Good night, you guys. Good to see you, and I shall see you tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye. Bye.